welcome to Mortgage Insights with Own New, a series of reflections from brokers, builders, buyers and lenders on the current new build mortgage market. Today we're joined by Chris Blewitt and Tom Crossley from Darlington Building Society and Eliot Darcy, founder and CEO of Own New, an innovative mortgage platform that helps solve key issues in today's challenging mortgage market. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys. It's great to have you here. Now, it's a challenging time for mortgage lenders, and the landscape's constantly changing with the introduction of the mortgage charter, cost of living crisis, and consumer duty. Can you tell us a little bit about how this is affecting the mortgage landscape and how, as a lender, you're responding to these challenges?
Yeah, Tom, do you want me to kind of take, you can have consumer duty, I'll take the other bits.
Of course.
So, I mean, the landscape out there is difficult at the moment, whether you're talking affordability challenges, cost of living in people's own lives. We're certainly seeing an awful lot of people struggling for deposits. There was some very, very interesting data released yesterday in regards to the Bank of Family. So they're expecting 47% of transactions this year to be supported by a family member. Which is huge, and it's kind of the biggest again, which shows, I suppose, two things. One, there's a changing dynamic, but second, there's people willing to innovate and support that changing dynamic, which is really good from our point of view as a lender. Tom, you're probably better placed to talk around kind of consumer duty and how that's shaping us up.
Yeah, so the consumer duty has been, I guess, a watermark moment, I think, in terms of sort of regulation in the financial sector. I think it's a sort of mutual building society. We are owned by our members. We sort of work on behalf of our members, so we felt that we do this and those principles particularly well already. But it's probably an opportunity for us to actually sort of pause and reflect a little bit, and then think about the needs of our sort of target market, etc. So I think we're in a really good place, but we've just kind of used this as an opportunity to, I guess, enhance our products and services.
I think one thing I've really, I suppose, liked about consumer duty, it's quite a difficult word to say, likes, it's been a really all-encompassing kind of project, is it's give you a really holistic view about what you're trying to achieve. So if you almost go back 2 years ago, as Tom said, we got it right, but you started at the top down about what do we want to deliver, as opposed to the bottom up of what is needed to be delivered. What is the target market, and how do we build a product and set of kind of rules and propositions up, which ultimately will lead to a better consumer outcome, which is what we're all about. It's our ethos of helping these people into their homes. It just reaffirms that we are doing the right thing with a nice big consumer duty rubber stamp, which is brilliant.
That's really interesting, that actually, Chris, you mentioned that, because everything that Own New does is focused on the consumer and what the consumer needs and what their problem is today. We try and help to solve that. So almost we have a different start point, a different viewpoint, which seems to fit really well with the lender's view of consumer duty, and hopefully that all fits together quite nicely.
Yeah, and it's designing products and services that really meet the needs and characteristics of our target market. It's also designing products that offer good value, fair value in essence. So we've used that as an opportunity to really reflect on the benefits that products give our consumers and make sure that they are of good value.
Has that made you explore different products that are out there and look differently at sort of new innovative products like Own New is offering?
It certainly has. I think in the first instance it was quite a big exercise to actually look at our existing product set and look after our existing members. But also, we are a financial services provider, a mortgage and savings provider that wants to, help our members meet their own financial objectives. And of course, 14 successive base rate rises, a bit of market turmoil, the inflation challenges have made it, very difficult for some members, particularly those ones with maybe a smaller deposit, be able to access the housing market. So that has probably helped us look at partnerships as an opportunity to really solve some of those problems, particularly given things like Help to Buy have kind of subsided, and we look, it's important that these people are still served and supported.
It's really interesting that actually, Chris, you mentioned the stats you saw yesterday. I think I probably saw the same ones. I think it said that it's not the Bank of Mum and Dad anymore, is it? It's the Family Support, Bank of Family. And I think they're expecting 8.1 billion of lending to come from the Bank of Family in the next year, which is the 7th biggest lender in the country. Like that's huge, and that's great for all those people who have that support. But if there's that many people who have that support, how many are there who don't have that support? And really, that's kind of the people that we're looking to together to support.
Yeah, and those people with lower deposits are probably the ones who've been affected most by the interest rate rises that we've seen. Yeah. So it's how do we really design a product that supports the needs of that particular segment?
I think if there is one good thing, I suppose, going back to the original point about the challenges in the market that's happening, nobody's in a place of complacency at the moment, therefore they're having to innovate. Yeah. If you rewind it back 2.5, 3 years when transactions were just hand over fist happening, people were just almost sat there watching it come in. Mortgage brokers were watching people walk in the door saying, I want this, and they just serviced it. Everything now has to be taken up a level. You've got to deliver better service. You've got to find innovation to these problems. I don't want to say the current situation is a good thing, but the output might be a brilliant thing because it'll give a better level of customer outcome or service, as we said before. When things get easy again, imagine how much better that's going to be than prior. So I think there's lots of lessons being learned at the moment, which is the best thing that we can probably do out of this tough situation.
So why was it important for Darlington to be first to market with a product like Go New, and how do you think that reflects on the building society itself?
So I think the building society sector, in particular, is always one that has looked to innovate. I think we already have quite an innovative product set, but I think we think about our own society's, strategic objective, which is to help homeowners access good quality products and mortgages so they can get their home of their dreams. It probably wasn't a race for us in such a sense, but I think it was just we could see what was happening in that particular landscape, and we just wanted to be quick to react to that, to make sure that we're supporting those people. And it was, it was really pleasing to get that product, into the market so quickly. And obviously we're keen for others to actually follow as well, ultimately, because the building society sector is about, a number of people sort of collaborating, innovating to support, would-be homeowners effectively.
Interesting you're talking about collaboration and partnership, because that's definitely what a lot of large corporations are looking at, to be able to offer that agility that they might not be able to in-house. And so, Eliot, have you seen the product that you're offering change due to consumer demands, and what are the features looking like for ONU?
I mean, I think you've touched on two of the main points there, Sophie, for ONU. So what we recognise is that it's hard for big organisations, and Darlington being one of those, and obviously lots of other lenders bigger too, and it's hard for the big developers to innovate quickly and change because of the nature of who they are and how regulated that is. So we try and be a platform that can identify people's problems quickly and then find a solution to those, and just let these guys plug into that so that it's really easy for lenders, it's really easy for developers. So that's the first thing. I think our job is to make life as easy as possible for the big guys so that they can innovate quickly to solve people's problems. And then the second point is about the problems, exactly. And so this all started when I was a user of mortgages, didn't have much of a deposit, really struggled when I moved down to London with work, and so couldn't understand why I was struggling just because I had a small deposit. So that's where it started. So it started, trying to support people with a small deposit. But since then, the world's changed, yeah? So that's still a big problem. But another big problem is cost of living, obviously. So the second product that we're in the process of bringing about now is to help create cheaper mortgage rates, basically, to help people through the cost of living. So, yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do, identify the problem, find a solution, and then it's just the same platform that these guys may already be plugged into, and so can access these new products very easily and quickly. That's the sense of it.
And how have you guys found working with ONU and the builders that have signed up to the scheme?
So I think in terms of, from my perspective of business development, Eliot, you're here, but it's been brilliant. We get an awful lot of support. There's been a real halo effect with the mortgage brokers and the builders in there, which has been really, really good. We spoke a little bit earlier about kind of being first to market on that. That was a real kudos for us to show that we're kind of leading the way and helpful with that. I think the biggest thing for me is that it's shown that we're willing to innovate. We're not, building society sector, as Tom alluded before, its core purpose is to put people in houses, but it can sometimes be seen as a bit bowler hat and briefcase. It can be seen as a bit, old-fashioned. I think the partnership with All New and innovators as such really shows that we're not at all. We're at the forefront of trying to support the mortgage market. We're not a fast follower, but actually we're willing to be a leader, which is brilliant.
And we're, I guess, experts in mortgages and savings, and we know what builders are good at, and I think working with Eliot has been fantastic because he's kind of brought them together and created this sort of collaborative group that's created something, which is brilliant for people that really need something right now. So, and we found, working with Eliot, it's been great. We've worked collaboratively, we've worked, in an agile way where we've needed to, but we've actually worked fairly quickly to bring something quite unique to the market as well.
If you were to speak to another lender who was looking to get on board with these new products with Own New, what would be your advice to them?
Tom?
Well, I would say don't feel that you think you need to solve it on your own. Look for, some partners, some expertise where you can collaborate and create something, because there are solutions out there if you look hard enough.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think for me, we spoke earlier on about the need for innovation and collaboration to solve the problems. To echo Tom's point, there are people out there willing to support, tap into that expertise and that knowledge and go out there and disrupt.
Thank you, Tom, Chris and Eliot, for your time today. Make sure you join us next time, where we'll be speaking to a builder about their insights on the current mortgage landscape.